All right, what is up, guys? This video idea was recommended by a viewer by the name of William Levin. So, uh, this is for you and anybody that likes thrash metal. Here's my top 10 favorite thrash albums of all time as of now, anyway. Years ago, this could have changed, but right now, this is what I came up with. And by the way, this is in no particular order. I'm just there's no like my 10th favorite to my first favorite. I just consider all these equals right now. I don't even know if I could pick a favorite thrash album at the moment. I don't know because there's too many good ones. But we'll start off with Testament the Legacy. Why is this one my favorite? Well, I'll tell you what, I can listen to every track on here and not get bored. The music is awesome. This was one of the first thrash albums I ever found that was not Metallica, and I loved it. And I know the production sucks, but honestly, it kind of adds to the brutality of the music, so it really doesn't bother me. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like if it was recorded better, but it doesn't bother me. I actually really like it. I wouldn't change a thing. And a lot of people gravitate towards the New Order, which I can totally understand. But this one for me just has some of the best solos for me, like Over the Wall and First Strike is Deadly. It's just, to me, it's just too perfect. So yeah, Testament the Legacy. Next, I did my Polish thrash video a few days ago, and I featured this as my cat album to show in the video. This one is absolutely amazing. It's, again, every track is awesome. Really, really creative thrash with a lot of different ideas. This is definitely not your just balls to the wall thrash album. Like, this has a bunch of different elements to it, a lot of cool riffs and leads, and in the vocals, which surprisingly can almost border death metal at times, like early death metal. But the music definitely doesn't cross that threshold, and the dude can be real melodic sometimes too. Love it. He does some great high-pitched screams. Just a great, great album. Totally recommend this Polish thrash classic. I can't pronounce this, by the way. It's all in Polish, so just look for this album cover. Next, I have to give some credit to Slayer, Show No Mercy. Actually, this might be the first thrash album that was not Metallica that I ever discovered, and I absolutely loved it. I'm not into all this evil stuff really, but it's not that makes me like this album. Why I like this album, it sounds like medieval battle music. It's like the darker Kill 'Em All, as far as I'm concerned, because it came out the same year as Metallica's debut. But the music on here, this is the only time Slayer has ever been like melodic, like and actually Tom almost sings on a lot of this stuff, which is different. Really a lot of new wave of British heavy metal moments on here, and I really love that. Absolutely love this. Definitely my favorite Slayer and one of the best albums ever made. It's even the solos. A lot of people talk about how Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman just kind of, just noodled around, a lot of stuff out of key. Like, this album actually doesn't sound like that. This actually sounds really, really masterful. And I'm not dogging Slayer. I do like my Slayer, but this album was just coming from a different perspective altogether. Next, my top favorite thrash band of all time, Annihilator. Why are they my favorite? Jeff freaking Waters. That's why. My top favorite guitarist of all time, for as far as thrash goes, Andre Ulbrich from Blind Guardian is my favorite. But as far as thrash goes, this dude right here is so cool. I kind of consider this like the Canadian Rust in Peace. It's just lots of guitar work that's just absolutely amazing. It, like, the riffs are complex but memorable. Same way with the solos. Just really melodic, but then he can shred your face off. Great stuff. A lot of people normally gravitate towards Alice in Hell. I used to be one of those people, but as time went on, this one just started overshadowing it for me, because while Alice in Hell is amazing and great, technical thrash and all that, This album kind of focused a little bit more on the songwriting aspect and melodies, and that's kind of why I gravitate towards this one. Don't get me wrong, I love Alice in Hell. Great record. I love the whole thing. But man, Annihilator, Never Land, dude. Definitely one of the greats. Wargasm. This one was one that I'm actually kind of surprised I put on here. I was just thinking about what would my top 10 be, and I was just going through my my thrash list on my iTunes, and I was just like, dude, yeah, I love this album. I don't even know what it is that's so great about it. It's just that this album just has good riffs, good songwriting, a great drummer. The singer even kind of reminds me a little bit of Algie Ward from Tank. A lot of people have mentioned that before, and he kind of does. I don't know. It's just a really, really well done thrash record. It's just totally has like an East Coast, a little bit of a Malaya Rage sound, but only more gravitated towards thrash. I really, really love this band and album. So, heck yeah, let's Wargasm. Why Play Around is what it's called. Next, I've actually done a video on these guys, Stone. They're from Finland. And oh my gosh, this band, this is like the European Jeff Waters to me. This dude, this guitarist in this band, I don't know how to say his name, so I'm not going to try, but what this is, it's kind of got some of that meaty guitars, like at time like Metallica, like the vocals even kind of have like this James Hetfield type of grit to them. And the songs are real melodic yet thrashy. There's even like a little bit of like a Megadeth type of, technicality going on here. And, but definitely some like Jeff Waters type moments too. I don't know. So you get basically a good blend of Metallica, Megadeth, and Annihilator for me. And the only real flaw to this band, I will say, is the singer. It's not that his voice sounds bad. It's just really, he just doesn't have a very controlled voice, in my opinion. But he don't sound bad. He just kind of all over the place. Like, I don't know. But other than that, it's really, really cool. This is one of the best albums ever that I've, I don't know. I just recommend checking it out. The album is No Anesthesia. Next, I got to go with Artilleries by Inheritance from, this is my, I think they're from Denmark. I believe they're Danish. This is the European Rust in Peace for me. So you're probably wondering what other album's going to be in this list, but at this point, but, yeah, the riffs on here are insane. Some of the most insane riffing I've ever heard on a thrash album, like consistently insane, but really, really tasteful. And like there's nothing on here that's just complex for the sake of it. Like it's just genius riff writing, in my opinion. Amazing song structures, complex, but not for the sake of complex. Like everything has a pretty good purpose, in my opinion. A lot of melody. You got a vocalist who's kind of got like a raspy falsetto. It's very cool. Gosh, it's not a dull moment here, man. Like, again, these are all records that have, pretty well perfect track listing, in my opinion. So, yeah, By Inheritance by Artillery, a must. No surprise here, Rust in Peace. You know what? This album's just too perfect. Everything about it is just perfect. The riffs are great. Some of the best riffs ever written. Some of the best songwriting I've ever heard. We got a bunch of songs that don't even really have choruses, and it don't even matter. Like, it's just, the songs are just composed so well, and they're so memorable without being like typical song structures and everything. It's incredible. And, some of the best solos I've ever heard as well. Great production. Don't get the remastered, get the original, in my opinion. The remastered, they re-recorded stuff. It's a disaster, in my opinion. The original sounded fine. They didn't need to go back and mess with this at all. But, and a lot of people don't like Dave Mustaine's voice. I've always kind of liked it. That's just me. maybe, nowadays, and, he's had throat cancer. I give him a pass, but, nowadays he sounded a bit rough, but I always kind of liked his voice, especially back in the early days. So yeah, rest in peace. Next, Razor, Evil Invaders. Almost forgot what I grabbed here. So this album might not be one of the more melodic albums of everything out of this top 10, but you know why I like this album so much? For one thing, it's one of the most brutal sounding. Like it's super brutal yet very memorable to me. Like I love the singer Stace McLaren. I think he's got a very cool thrash voice. Can hit some amazing high screams, like just amazing. And I don't know, there's something about Dave Carlo's guitar playing that's just so filled with testosterone. I don't know. There's just something about this band that's just, when I hear them, I'm just like, yeah. But the reason why I didn't pick like this album, Violent Restitution, I could totally understand this being like somebody's favorite too, but I just feel like it's a bit one dimensional. Like the first 5 tracks of it, I'm kind of like, all right, I think I've got all I needed of this album for today. But this one, I always listen to from beginning to end every time I listen to it, because every track sounds different from the last, in my opinion. So pretty well perfect album. Yeah, I don't know. Just a special album for me. Next, Death Row's Raging Steel. So this album is like one of the German thrash albums or German thrash bands that kind of got pushed out of the circle for some reason, don't get talked about as much. I think this album is one of the best German thrash albums ever made. I'll definitely take this album even over like the Germany's Big Four. This album is so fast. It is so ridiculously fast. It's almost like if it was any faster, it'd probably just be noise. But the way they do this is so awesome. It's like the riffs are all memorable to me. And there's always like a cool riff or solo or lead or some cool melodic lead or something. There's a good blend of speed and melody in the music. It's just amazing. The only thing about the band that, I could say like the weakest thing about the band, the vocals are okay. They don't do anything completely fresh or add a lot to the music, but they do the job. And that's really all that matters ultimately. But, yeah, like every song is just fast, except for like maybe like a couple. Like Dragon's Blood's kind of more of a melodic, slow headbanger, and there's an instrumental on here that's got a lot of stuff, a lot of changes, slower, faster parts, But this album is just so fun. The only thing about this album also I wish could be different is the production just be a hair cleaner sounding, but it's okay. It's not really that bad. But yeah, so that is my top 10 thrash albums. And again, I don't know, maybe a couple years from now it might change. It might change next year. I don't know. So I'm kind of surprised I didn't put, like Bonded by Blood by Exodus in there, which I also love. I don't know. So these albums just kind of gravitated to my front lately, and I don't know. But anyway, thank you, William Levin, for this idea. I thought it was a good idea. Something I could, I didn't have to think too terribly hard on. I did have to think about it, though, because there's just so many great thrash albums out there. But, yeah, let's hear yours and stay metal. Till next time, guys. See ya.